Saturday morning, sometime around 2003. You're parked in front of the TV, bowl of cereal in hand, and you hear it. For a whole generation of kids in the West, this was our introduction to Sonic in anime form. And for what it was, we loved it. It was fast, it was colorful, and it was Sonic. But what if I told you the show we watched was a pale imitation of the original? A show that was censored, rewritten, and musically rescored to the point of being almost unrecognizable. So, first, let's set the stage. Before 2003, Sonic cartoons in the West were a mixed bag. We had the wacky, Looney Tunes-inspired adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the dark and gritty SATAM, and whatever Sonic Underground was supposed to be. They were all Western productions that did their own thing. But then came the news. A brand new made involvement from Sonic Team. This was a huge deal. It was set to adapt the stories from the Sonic adventure games, which had given the series a more connected and epic storyline. We were finally getting the game's world, characters, and epic supersonic battles in a full-length series. The hype was real. And for those who saw the original Japanese version first, through the magic of early 2000s fan subbing, it delivered. The animation was slick, the action was straight out of the games, and it had this killer opening theme called Sonic Drive that told a mini-story all on its own. But then 4Kids got the license for the American dub, and that's where our childhood memories start to get complicated. Now, let's be fair. The 4Kids dub did one thing really well, the voice cast. This show introduced us to Jason Griffith as Sonic and Shadow and the legendary Mike Pollock as Dr. Eggman, a role he still absolutely nails to this day. The cast did a fantastic job with the material they were given. No notes there. Unfortunately, that's where most of the praise ends. Let's talk about the biggest, most exhausting problem with the 4Kids dub: the music. The original Japanese Sonic X had a great soundtrack. It was cinematic. It used music to build tension, amplify emotion, and most importantly, it knew when to be quiet and let a scene breathe. The 4Kids version does the exact opposite. It's a constant, non-stop auditory assault. Every single moment is filled with goofy, upbeat, repetitive background music. A character walks into a room, trumpet fanfare, someone tells a joke, wacky slide whistle, a serious, emotional moment. Here's some generic synth rock. See what I mean? It never shuts up. The theory was that kids have short attention spans and constant noise will keep them engaged. But that's just not true. It talks down to its audience and completely undermines any emotional weight the show's trying to have. It's exhausting, and it's the #1 reason the dub is so hard to watch today. And then there's the censorship. Oh, the censorship. This is where things go from annoying to just plain ridiculous. You have the standard stuff like changing the sound of realistic guns to cartoony laser zaps. But some changes were so bizarre they became legendary dumb. In one episode, Knuckles walks into a sketchy-looking bar, clearly a dangerous place for tough guys. In the 4Kids dub, it's a fast food restaurant, because nothing says I'm a hardened criminal, like pounding back a few hamburgers and starting trouble over French fries. Signs with Japanese text were either scrubbed clean or digitally replaced with nonsensical English. Any mention of alcohol was removed. Chris's grandpa wasn't drinking fine wine, he was just drinking juice. And of course, there was Maria's death. In the original, she's unambiguously shot by a soldier. In the 4Kids dub, her fate is made incredibly vague, as if she was just arrested or fell over. It completely guts the emotional core of Shadow the Hedgehog's entire backstory. But the changes went deeper than just music and censorship. 4Kids rewrote huge chunks of the script, altering character motivations and dumbing down the plot. Chris Thorndike, the human protagonist, is already a divisive character, but the dub makes him even more grating by simplifying his dialogue and motivations. In the original, his loneliness in a mansion with absentee parents is a key part of his character. In the dub, he's just kind of there. I'm sure you already know what I meant by now if you watched my previous video, but if you haven't, you can check it out. The entire third season, the Metarex saga, suffers the most. This was a surprisingly dark and mature space opera about life, death, and sacrifice. The original Japanese script had real emotional weight. Tails and Cosmo's relationship was a beautiful, tragic romance. In the 4Kids version, the tone is lightened, the dialogue is filled with cringy jokes, and the finale, where Cosmo makes the ultimate sacrifice, loses almost all of its heart-wrenching impact. They essentially took a compelling story and sanded off all the interesting edges. So, did 4Kids ruin our childhoods? Well, no. For many of us, the 4Kids dub of Sonic X was all we had, and we have fond memories of it. Gotta Go Fast is an undeniable bop. But what 4Kids did do was deny a whole generation of Western fans the chance to experience the show as it was intended. They took a well crafted, emotionally resonant anime and slapped a coat of loud, obnoxious paint on it, assuming kids couldn't handle anything more complex. They replaced a thoughtful soundtrack with musical wallpaper and traded genuine emotion for goofy censorship and bad jokes. The good news is, we live in a different era now. Thanks to the internet and amazing physical media releases, like the recent Blu ray set from Discotek Media, it's easier than ever to watch Sonic X in its original. And if you do, you'll discover that underneath all that 4Kids noise, there's a genuinely great Sonic show waiting for you. One that respects its characters, its story, and most importantly, its audience. So, what are your memories of Sonic X? Did you grow up with the 4Kids dub? Have you seen the Japanese original? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments because I read every single one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.